Alright guys, something new came in the mail today. Let's check this out. Alright guys, so what we got today is a radio-controlled G.I. Joe VAMP Mk II. Let's have a look. So what drew me to this was that it looks just like a VAMP, obviously, and it's branded for G.I. Joe, always a plus. Unfortunately though, it has the wrong box art. They've been doing this a lot with Jada Toys, with some of the minis and things that they've been releasing, even though nothing to do with the Awe Striker. They're putting the picture of the Awe Striker for a G.I. Joe VAMP Mk II. So let's crack open the box and let's see what's inside. So as everything is these days, it's screwed and taped in. Get rid of those. Of course, the remote's held in with plastic strap. So it looks like it already comes with the battery. I could feel it in there. When I flip it on, there is a battery in there. So this is a pretty typical Jada Toys format. There's the G.I. Joe Mk II. I have one here for my kids' Jurassic Park Jeep, and one here for my kids' Fast and the Furious Toyota Supra. So, pretty generic. So when it comes to the VAMP, you can see that it is very highly detailed. I mean, it looks just like a VAMP would. It's even got the shovel, the winch, all the accoutrement on top. It's got a missile launcher. The one downside is that this body is plastic. It is basically just a shell. So you can't put figures or anything in it. So that's probably going to break. It does have body clips, like most of them do. But it feels pretty generic. Flip it over. It is only two-wheel drive. Okay. Then you got your steering trim up here. Of course, it's toy grade, so you got to do it the old-fashioned way. It does come with its own USB charger. According to the box, it takes approximately 2 hours to charge. But all in all, it looks pretty much just like a Jada Toys chassis, just smaller. Over here is my kid's Jada Toys 1970 Dodge Charger. The body's made out of the same stuff, has body clips, and even the chassis is just a little bit bigger. At least here on the Mk II VAMP, they bothered to put suspension on it, or at least what passes for suspension. Oh, never mind. It's totally just fake. This has no suspension whatsoever. Neither does the Dodge Charger. Jada Toys is simply made in floppy plastic for the suspension, and this thing breaks constantly. I'm always right here. This thing, whenever we hit something or ramp it, that post right here pops out, and I always have to twist it back in. We lost the Batmobile the other day the same way. The Batmobile finally lost that wheel, and we had to scrap it. Let's get a look underneath here, and I'm going to take the body clips off, and we're going to take the shell off and see what's going on. So let's see what's going on underneath. So as you can tell, very flimsy body shell. All the accessories are screwed on. They seem a little bit reinforced, which is cool. The missile launcher does not work. It has these things on the side that spin for reasons. So underneath here, I mean, this looks pretty much just like the bigger Jada Toys. It looks like we have a pivot point here at the motor. Don't know whether you can see that, to allow the rear end to move a little bit, I guess. But it's the same thing. It's just this plastic right here. That's what's actually the suspension, not these molded plastic springs. So this definitely cannot go off-road, which is disappointing because when something's branded G.I. Joe, you expect a certain level of play, a certain level of roughness and toughness, which unfortunately I don't think we're going to get from this car. Not only is the remote loaded with a battery, which is like unheard of, the car's actually charged. I just plugged it in and I was not getting the flashing light that you would normally get right here to show that it's charging, and it is moving. So more on that in a minute. So I think the next thing that I'm going to do is with the body shell. And I did this with the kid's 1970 Charger. And I don't know how much you can see it, but I used duct tape to reinforce it. Because the body shells are very flimsy. And as you can tell from the beating that this thing has taken in just under the year that we've had it, this thing would probably be far worse for wear had I not done that. It is starting to crack and give way in spots. I think what I'm going to do is just reinforce it along here and along here. I'm not going to go too hog wild with it. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I bought brand new duct tape just for this video. So I'm going to start in the middle-ish and just work the tape in. I've seen other YouTubers use things like drywall tape and shoe glue, and I get that for much more expensive hobby grade models. But for this bad boy, I think I'm just going to go the cheap route. Scissors weren't actually cutting the duct tape, so I'm going to have to resort to an X-Acto knife. So one thing I noticed while I was putting this on, I mean, here's a G.I. Joe logo. There's a G.I. Joe logo. But look, it's not even straight. Look, it starts to flare out right about here. It's like when they printed it, it's smudged, and it's even worse on this side. They didn't even try to get that straight. It's not even level at all. It just smeared. Like even the door. Look at the door. Look. Look at the curve of the door. So, right away, I'm already regretting buying this because I thought this would at least be a somewhat positive video, but I am not impressed at all with what I'm seeing so far. Alright, let's power it on. So as with every toy grade RC, it's all or nothing. There's no proportional steering. It's just all or nothing, which means the turning radius is probably going to be terrible. And 1 speed forward, 1 speed back. You do have this power boost button, but again, you can't really go off-roading with this thing, so let's go see what the turning radius is like. Okay, I do apologize if this is a little dark. I am filming at night right now. So as with all toy grade RCs, the battery powers both the steering and the throttle, so we'll see how that goes. So forward, and oop. Yeah, it almost takes the entire width of my garage to turn. As I transition from forward to backwards, there's grinding in the gearbox. The steering is very sluggish, it's not responsive at all. There's a slight delay. As just with other Jada products, I noticed that as well. Very frustrating. It does not allow for precision driving. So let me get this thing recharged and then we'll take it outside during the daylight and see what it does on pavement and light grass. Alright, here we go. Taking it out for its first zoom. Oh, look how slow that goes. Oh, and it bounces around because there's no grass, just kills it. You know, the gear's grinding. Did you hear that? I can't get it to do it again. Alright, I'm going to give it a power boost. Nope. So wet grass stops this off-road vehicle literally in its tracks. Alright, so grass is a no-go for an off-road vehicle. Again, the turning radius sucks. Let's see how it handles some light stone. That slows it down. I'm just trying to steer it. I think the battery's crapping out. I charged it. You know, it's stuck on a rock. So there's no ground clearance. I'm still stuck. I think there's gear slipping inside. This thing just seems very underpowered for what it is. Oh! So all this is really good for is basically just driving on the street or sidewalk. It couldn't handle the small patch of stone I have next to my house. It can barely handle the grass. Alright, so you just saw the VAMP run, and I can't say that I'm really all that impressed. It really is a generic vehicle. It's just a scale up of what Jada Toys is already offering with other vehicles. The body is just as flimsy as all get out. If I didn't reinforce it, this would probably break it. It's just cheap, it's underpowered. It's really not meant, I guess, for big kids like me. My 7-year-old thinks this thing is just the absolute greatest with all of the details on it. He is just really stoked, but I can't get over the poor quality control, the fact that the missile turret does absolutely nothing. It's all for decoration, and the fact they couldn't even get their decorations right because the decals and other paint is just, it's smeared. There's just no care given to it. It's just like, let's just stamp it out and let's get people to buy it. And I bought it, and I'm sorry that I did. So I'm going to say to others that might be thinking about it, please do not buy this vehicle. It is terrible. It is not worth the $40 you might pay for it. Go and get something else. Amazon is always a great resource for finding better quality RC vehicles than what you're finding in the box stores right now. So please avoid my mistakes and do not buy this vehicle, especially if you're a big kid like me. If you have small kids, they might enjoy it, but I guarantee you it will not last long. And if your kids are like mine and want to take it off-road and do stunts, it just isn't up to the challenge because it's too underpowered. So thanks for watching this video. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.